training once again, and thank you so much for watching the video. And today we're doing a video about how to build triceps, and obviously, as you guys know, there's many ways. However, I'm going to go through 7 steps in order to help you guys actually build 3 areas of your tricep, of which is the lateral head, the middle head, and the long head, which is really a big sort of area of the back of your arm. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I see after spending over 20 years in trying to obviously help others become their greatest versions is in gyms you see a lot of people utilizing apparatus of which obviously are for the tricep muscles. We're just talking about triceps today. And what you find is a lot of people use a lot of 1, wrong form, 2, momentum, 3, a lot of the times wrong contractions, of which causes people to lift a lot of weight. Yes, that's true, lift a lot of weight, but not necessarily benefiting from lifting a lot of weight and causing a lot of damage as well. So I'm going to go through basic movements, of which a lot of the times for the guys even that have been training for many years will probably, if they slow down and listen, they actually benefit from actually utilizing the right contractions versus loads of weight and no contractions. Now, one of the very famous exercises that a lot of people tend to do is a tricep press down. Now, this particular exercise is a very simple exercise. However, believe it or not, simple exercise, you find people, especially people that have been training for a long time, perform the exercise wrongly. I'm just going to utilize a very simple movement with very little amount of weight, just to show you of which what tends to happen. Now, when people do this particular exercise, it starts from the bottom. A lot of the time you see people going very narrow or very wide. It utilize a lot of momentum in the lower back. Now, this exercise should not be a lower back exercise or a shoulder exercise. It should be a core exercise. I mean, you see guys a lot of the times kind of like crunching, pushing the weight down. And I'm not exaggerating, I'm sure all of you guys have seen this. This is something that comes natural to a lot of people. But one of the biggest things you've got to realize is you've got to structurize a good stance, yeah? So if there's a good stance, there's a good core. If there's a good core, there's a good structure. If there's a good structure, the movement's going to go very fluent, okay? So make sure you keep your elbows tucked in as well, okay? These may seem very basic, but believe it or not, people don't do it. So it's very important stuff. From your feet, knees, shoulder width apart, good core, keeping that elbow tucked in, really important. Now, one of the things you see, a lot of people get all these right, but when they go down, they don't contract, they're moving the weight. So all they're doing is they're flushing, which is obviously from a sports science point of view, they're flushing the weight up and down, of which causes a lot of pump, but not necessarily contractions. It's a back contractions. Your muscles do not develop through flushing. So if I put a weight there and I'm moving the weight up and down, that's not necessarily saying that I'm going to build my triceps at all. All it's saying is my triceps and my biceps are working synergetically in order to let the arm go up and down, not necessarily building any muscle, not creating any specific tear in order to build muscle. So one of the biggest things I would say is to make sure when you go down, there's a contraction, which is called the concentric contraction. I'm sure you guys heard this one. And when you come up, there's an eccentric contraction. There's a controlled manner, okay? So your muscles contract positively, and on a negative side, which is the eccentric contraction, they stretch from the tendon as well. Failing to do that, forget it. I know you'll see guys putting loads of weight, because remember, your muscle consists of weight. So whether you put that weight there or not, imagine like a gauge, it's down to muscle contraction. So muscle doesn't know. Muscle doesn't actually know how much weight you do. It's all about how much it feels. So that's a big thing. Now, one of the biggest things I would also say to you is make sure keep things controlled manner. Control movements, okay? A lot of us move really fast throughout the reps. Now, one of the biggest things that we've obviously studied as sports scientists is specifically contractions. Not just contractions, but also how long your muscle stays in contraction for. Now, say if someone says, how many reps do I do? Now, if I say 12, some people can take 30 seconds to 12 reps, some people can take 10 seconds. Some people can take 30 seconds, 35 seconds, 45 seconds. Now, it's been studied to actually be like between 35 to 45 seconds is the best time to actually build muscle tissue. So for the guys out there that put a lot of weight, they can spend literally 6-7 seconds doing it. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter what they're lifting. But what matters is how long your muscle stays in contractions for. And that is the difference. So this particular exercise, remember, it's all about contractions, okay? Now, this works the lateral head of your tricep muscle, which is this head here, okay? Now, that really is responsible to extend your arm. Obviously, the stronger that head is, obviously the more powerful you're going to be in pushing exercise that, to do with pushing, like say bench press, shoulder press. That will really help you because the secondary muscle auxiliaries to help you push more. Now we're going to move on to this particular one. This is another one that obviously is very, very famous, used by loads of people. It's the rope press down. Again, is another exercise of which you see a lot of these sort of movements. Okay, you see a lot of that, a lot of head movement, a lot of hip movement, which is completely wrong. So I'm not going to bore you going through again. So very simple feature with the part again. Obviously keep strong core, and when you come up, don't twist your wrists. A lot of people do this thing, and this is one of the things that is, what is the point of this? This is absolutely nothing at all. If I'm twisting my wrists, I'm not actually exercising my triceps at all. So what the biggest thing that you guys got to do here is really open up the actual rope. So imagine like creating like some sort of like a pyramid shape on the actual rope itself. Is going in, opening up, contracting and coming back to a 90-degree angle. So this is vital. Obviously, again, what a lot of people tend to do, because it's a rope, they're coming in and twisting the wrists, and honestly, there'll be more tension on your wrists and flexors and extensors, which is these muscles around your forearm, than anything else. And what happens is, obviously, doing a lot of weight on that, twisting them wrists, you gonna start creating a lot of problems on your tendons. So it's completely wrong. Now, this particular exercise is a really good exercise. You may ask why. The reason why is because as you contracting and you opening up, you're bringing in the actual long head and the middle head of your tricep muscle. Now the middle head and the long head is slightly bigger, depends on your, obviously on your genetics, but it tends to be a bigger insertion of the head of your triceps. Now this particular exercise will help you also to obviously push away. Anything that to do with triceps will help you to push away more, okay? Now this is one very good exercise. However, you see common mistakes. He's twisting, he's swinging, he's pulling. It's even like sometimes I actually even seen people doing this, you know, almost like a shoulder press, sort of like using a lot of shoulder momentum, which is very wrong. Now, I'm going to get you to move here, and we're going to use this exercise. However, it's going to be slightly different. Instead of having my hands pronated, which is palms down, I'm going to have them supinated, of which what it does, it changes the exercise completely. It works the long head of your triceps. I'm not doing that regularly, so you might not see it's right at the back. This is what the largest head of your triceps. The origin and insertions are completely different to the other two. And this, what happens is, this particular exercise, believe it or not, it won't be an exercise of which you're going to be able to lift a lot of weight, but what's going to happen is, if you do get that head stronger, you'll find, like in terms of bench press, we'll get your bench press well up there. Okay, so that's a very important exercise. So palms up, again, 90-degree angle, strong core, push down and hold it. Now again, these sort of head movements, a lot of hip movements will not help you, okay? It will help you in terms of pushing the weight, but it won't help you in terms of gain. So make sure you get a good squeeze, a good eccentric contraction, a good squeeze, a good eccentric contraction. Now, this is vital. These particular three exercises I showed you for your triceps, in order for you to build a stronger tricep muscles, you've got to get the contractions. Don't count the movements, like obviously a lot of my clients here were saying. It's not about how many reps you do, it's how many contractions, concentric and eccentric contractions you do. So if you stay in between the green area, you're going to promote muscle hypertrophy, which is what causes you to obviously develop. Now, this doesn't mean that because you're going to do, say, correct muscle contractions, if your diet is bad, if you only train once a week or once every 2 weeks, that's not going to help you, obviously. So you need to have a good program built, you need to have a good diet, you need to train regularly in order for your goal. Now, everyone's goal is different, okay? This is the biggest thing about generalizing. Obviously, someone that needs to lose weight, perhaps they need to focus a little bit more on functional and aerobic exercise. Someone that needs to build muscle is an ectomorph, say, for instance, someone that's a hard gainer, obviously needs to focus a lot more weight training. Depends on the goal of the person. So don't obviously generalize. A lot of the times magazines and Instagram posts sometimes are very general. So it's not to do with maybe your goal or my goal. It's to do with that particular person's goal. And sometimes people think because one size fits all, every sort of advice, if you like, is for everyone. It's not for everyone. So this video today is very much so to actually show you effectively how to contract muscle fibers. Obviously, as you guys know, I come from a very humble place. I always like to help you guys become your greatest version. So you can find us on Instagram, which is Carlos Trainer 10. Also on YouTube channel, which is Carlos Trainer. And with all I said, guys, I always say, stay happy, stay healthy, stay fit. Have a great day. Take care. Boom. Did you press red, yeah? You definitely press red.